Well, ho, 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 and Merry Christmas to everyone. This is a Christmas Eve report, and with the market closed on Christmas, we want to be looking at what the potential is for right after. And we were talking about this setup where we wanted to see an improvement in our extreme histogram. We got that. So far, everything's fine with the moves that we're seeing from the expanded ratio histogram in relation to what we were looking at from a ratio psi developing, and looks better than that at this particular point. So all things being positive from that standpoint, I mean, obviously with the limited day, we'll be watching the up-down power to make sure that we stay on the positive side of that one. If we do flip to the negative, then we'll have to take a little more cautious stance. Nothing too reliable for what you're going to get on a very small trade volume, as well as just a tiny apparatus move here from the holiday, but it's okay. In line with our expectations. This is where some of the moving averages guys are going to get in trouble with the MACD, and that you're going to get a crossover to the sell signal right at a time where we're very interested in being buyers into this setup. We wanted to sell our 60 puts on the SSO. That's fine with that setup. Certainly it's a short week, and even if we get a little bit more of a dip, that would be fine. But overall, I like what we're seeing in general for most of the setups. Gold even continued higher off of that extreme histogram buy. USO, we sold calls for this setup. It turns out to get a halibut at this particular level. Let's just slide it over a little bit. You can see that signal. Target all the way up there, but that's all right. That should clear us out at the end of the year if we stay above the 32 level with the sale. CLF, no issues with that whatsoever. We wanted to sell puts on X, and I got a couple of comments from people like, am I sure that that's the direction we want to go? It absolutely was. No issues with that whatsoever. And the same with WLT. Coming off these positive signals, now any move up higher with our extreme histogram should be a powerful positive jump. So we'll look to see that transpire. Some of the individual stocks, we went over these now. That's an interesting one because I did upload to YouTube a ton of the live setups that we did on the 21st. So anyone who wants to go back and look at some of those, we detailed some of the different ways to put the strategies. Quite a bit of time, but I think it's worth the investment because I go over a lot of how we utilize the analysis techniques. Now I'm taking us here to the strategy performance report for the futures. And the reason being is, and let me just go back to it, I'm going to flip over to the chart. We had the Iron Hawk here, and could have gone over this the other day when it popped up, but why not take a moment real quick right now. You can go to the MBI Opus and the performance report section here, and we can look at Iron Hawk. And if you just click download file, it will ask you if you want to open it, save it, whatever. You can do whatever you prefer. But if we just open it here, it's going to take us directly to the performance report for it. And you can see that just this one setup within our overall MBI Opus has a 4.45 profit factor. It's got an 81.69% win rate. Okay, so that's too attractive to pass up, and we've now collected a little bit of a discount. So we're going to have to take advantage of that, and we're going to have to do so by, let's go back to it. We're going to take an ES trade. So scroll back up, return, and well, we can either go through the portfolio section, go to our ES. We want to do 3 contracts. 14.19. We're looking for about 14.35 as an up target. 13.85 right now for a stop. We'll make those adjustments depending on if we get any change in the readings. So that's our year-end futures play. And if we can get additional signal within there and up the target, we will definitely do that. And or if we get another additional decline, we'll be into it for a full position if the readings are still positive. So I mentioned that we might have this trade coming up, and so it's good that we're having a real quick report to mention it because it's worthwhile. It's a good setup. I mean, particularly since having dipped below the red line, we were expecting a little weakness, and we may still see a little bit more as we get a retrace, but now that we've moved down below where the close was, I think that's fine as far as I'm looking for. I'm going to be watching the power momentum. Okay, you see the ratios changed a little bit. There's a little bit less yellow. Didn't move all the way up to the upside. That's okay. We're still positive from an up-down power standpoint. That's good as far as the white line. So those are the elements I'm watching. I also looked at the configuration with my pivot down on my expanded ratio of the cyan. That's in line with other areas where we've seen a turnaround and consistent with about that 70% win rate. So always good to know the details, the facts, so we don't have to guess about any of it. And it's pretty clean. So from that standpoint, all good. Dot alerts have been going out. I know I offered that great special for everyone to get them through the end of the year, and a lot of people jumped on that opportunity. So good for you guys. It's a lot of alerts going out, but gives you a broad range of overall what the market expectation is. So that's always a positive to have that kind of detailed information. And from a weekly standpoint, real fast, since we're like just beginning it. Nothing special from that overall setup. In fact, the decline here is actually taking out any concern about overbought within this overall setup from a weekly standpoint. So, as much as you hear gloom and doom and fiscal cliff in this, it's like I've mentioned before. Everyone knew about the fiscal cliff. Everyone was prepared for it. It made no sense to me why they would do anything about it. You would see a massive rally if they did do something about it because it's baked into the setup as it is right now. What the expectation is. We do see red trend developing. That's also an important one to take a look at. But this often happens after you get the green dot. You get a day or two, and you get a pop. The question will be on this next pop whether or not we can expect a significant move from that green dot. If we take a look at the ES. I always do this. I should just come down and click the histogram, but no, I always click price, and it never seems to move it. The up target 1447 from an ES standpoint. So I know we have a little bit lower one at this particular point. We may up that, but for now, it still keeps us relatively within the relationship. And if we can get a full position, then we'll probably have a split level of targets going up just to collect returns as we go across, particularly as we're heading towards the end of the year. So excitement, it's all good. Continue to look for me on StockTwits Twitter. My girls are all excited. They're about to get the website out and start tracking Santa's maneuvers. We'll go from there. So everyone take care. You have a safe holiday, and the best from all of us at TradeTheMBI.com.